What happened when your Tinder date's husband joined your date? The waiter had just brought our appetizers when Bethany's face went completely white. "Oh fuck," she whispered, staring at something behind me. "Please don't turn around." Obviously, I turned around. A massive guy in a Broncos jersey was walking straight toward our table. "Is that your ex?" I asked, already calculating the quickest route to the exit. "My husband," she said quietly. The calamari I'd just swallowed seemed to lodge itself in my throat. Her Tinder profile had said single. We'd been texting for 2 weeks. She'd sent me memes about being alone forever. "You're what?" But he was already at our table, and instead of the confrontation I expected, he pulled up a chair from the empty table next to us and sat down like he'd been invited. "You must be Garrett," he said, extending his hand for a handshake. "I'm Doug. Beth told me all about you." I looked at Bethany, who was studying her napkin like it contained the secrets of the universe. Doug flagged down our waiter. "Can I get a menu? And let's move to a bigger table. This two-top is cramped." Doug turned to me with disturbing casualness afterwards. "So you work in software development? That's fascinating. I'm in construction myself. Totally different worlds. I'm sorry, but what exactly is going on here?" Doug laughed like I'd made a joke. "Beth didn't tell you? We have an arrangement. She dates, I meet the guys, we all have dinner. It's very modern." Bethany finally looked up. "I was going to mention it," she said weakly. "When?" I asked. "When exactly were you planning to mention your husband would be joining our first date?" "Second date usually," Doug interjected helpfully. "But I was free tonight and curious. You seem different from her usual type." The waiter returned to move us to a booth meant for 4. I found myself mechanically following, too stunned to just leave. Doug slid in next to Bethany, leaving me alone on my side like I was being interviewed. "Her usual type?" I heard myself asking. Doug nodded enthusiastically while looking at the menu. "She usually goes for gym bros who make protein shake their personalities, but you made her laugh in your messages." She showed me the one about the pelican at the beach. Hilarious. They'd been reading my messages together. My flirty, trying to be charming messages had been couples entertainment. "The oysters here are incredible," Doug continued, seemingly oblivious to my existential crisis. "How many times have you done this?" I asked. Doug thought for a moment. "What would you say, honey? 15? 20 times?" 17, Bethany corrected quietly. "Right, 17. You're number 18. He flagged the waiter again. "We'll take 2 dozen oysters to start and keep the wine coming." I watched them operate with the fluid synchronization of a longtime couple. Doug ordered for both of them without asking. Bethany filled his glass. "So what happens after dinner?" I asked, curious out of my mind. "Beth and I go home together. You go to your home. Then she texts you something polite about not feeling a connection, and we move on to the next match." The waiter arrived with the oysters. Doug immediately started adding lemon to Bethany's portion. "The thing is," Doug explained, "we've been married 12 years, love each other completely, but Beth needs something I can't give her." I braced myself for their weird fetish. "She needs that first date excitement," he continued. "The butterflies, the nervousness, the wondering if he'll text back. I can't give her that anymore. So this is our compromise." Bethany finally made eye contact with me. "I know it's weird, but it works for us. And you really do seem nice. Your profile said you like escape rooms." "We love escape rooms," Doug jumped in. "We could all go after this if you want. There's a new zombie one downtown." The complete sincerity in his voice broke something in my brain. "You want to do an escape room? The 3 of us, after you've hijacked my Tinder date?" "Hijacked seems harsh," Doug said, looking genuinely hurt. "I'd say enhanced. Look, you're still getting dinner with a beautiful woman. You're just also getting me. Think of it as a bonus friend. Why not just roleplay? Pretend you don't know each other?" They exchanged a look that suggested they'd tried that. "Doug's a terrible actor," Bethany said. "Last time he pretended to be a stranger at a bar, he accidentally used our joint credit card to pay for my drinks. Totally broke character." I found myself laughing despite everything. The whole situation was so absurd that my brain defaulted to finding it hilarious. "So what's my role here?" I asked, grabbing an oyster. "Am I supposed to compete for her attention? Pretend you're not here?" Doug's face lit up. "You're considering staying." "Beth, he's considering it." He raised his wine glass toward me. "You're supposed to be yourself. Have dinner. Tell your funny stories. Make Beth laugh. I'll probably chime in occasionally. Then we all part ways, and you get a great story for your friends." I looked at Bethany, who was attempting to disappear into her chair, then at Doug, who was grinning like he'd successfully set up his best friends. Believe it or not, we actually did become best friends.